All right, we are set. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Quirktastic on Creating Community panel at AfroComicCon 2020 virtual event. Please consider donating to the AfroComicCon and Mushu Junior program that allows young girls of color to go through a 12-month program where they learn amazing tech skills, innovation, product development, and entrepreneurship skills. The donation link is on the AfroComicCon site. I know they are having some slight issues with keeping the site up because this event has been so popular so far today, but please keep trying and check out their YouTube page for all the rest of the content for today. All right. So just diving in, we could go ahead and do our introductions. Bryanda, would you like to go first?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is B. Law. I'm the founder and CEO of Quirktastic. Quirktastic is a social video collaboration and networking platform for geeks and hobbyists. We've gone through several different iterations, but that is the current one. We're available on both Android and iOS. We started the company in its very first version back in 2017, but then ended up launching an app after getting a lot of feedback from our community in 2019. And our team has grown. We're all mostly on the East Coast with the exception of Chelsea. We've spent time in San Francisco and LA as well. And yeah, I'll pass it on to Lauren.
Hey everyone, my name is Lauren and I'm the Chief Content Officer for Quirktastic. I came on in 2017 and all of our audio and visual content, I bring that to you from podcasts ranging from the different stories from people of color to our short form and long form video, whether that be fan-made films like Afro Samurai Champloo that we did with Team Red, or quirky things like the Quirk Team Tri-Step, where we got to do some stuff with the stunt team from Black Panther.
Nice. And I am Chelsea Redding. I am the event director for Quirktastic. I came on 2 years ago, about 2 years or 4 months ago, as the person who was going to be behind most of the development of QuirkCon. But right now, with everything going virtual and with everybody stuck in the house, I am the one who helps to decide which one of these events, like AfroComicCon, that Quirktastic is going to be on, and what kind of content we're going to present for those. I joined Quirktastic originally as a contributor, so I've actually only been the event director for about 1.5 years. Nice. All right. So now that introductions are done, I do want to go ahead and just move into it. Bryanda already introduced Quirktastic and what it is as a company and what we do. So I do want to ask you, Bryanda, how did Quirktastic come to be? Can you share that with everyone?
Yeah, so let's see. I started, a little bit of background, but not too much to bore anyone. Before I started Quirktastic, I actually did work in science. I worked in cytogenetics. And I was just in the lab one night. I had a blog before I started Quirktastic, but one thing that I just really wanted to figure out was like how to find friends, honestly. Like I was in a lab about 13 hours a day, an adult at this time. And I was like, I really want to find other people who were similar to me, who also liked anime. So then I go online, try to find my people, and I found them. However, it was not without being forced to see like all of the harassment and bullying online, especially as a woman and a Black woman who was into geek fandom. And just like seeing like so many of my favorite cosplayers get told like, oh, you can't cosplay that, you're Black, or like, oh, you only like gaming because you must like your boyfriend must like gaming, or just like all of these other stereotypes. And I was like, this is lame. So my first thought was like, all right, let's just make a community for all of us. Like we will be on our own separate quirky island doing amazing things. Like, let's just do that. And I thought that was solving the problem. But then what I realized is that I wanted to create a community, or just, I guess, aid in the creation of community to where we could thrive no matter where we were at. And that's kind of where Quirktastic, into our newer brand Quirk Chat, is leading, is just allowing community builders to build the communities that they want to on our platform, while also making sure that we are building the tools as well as upholding the community guidelines so that people know that like you're not going to get away with stuff here. We will ban you real quick. And we've all come together. Like, we have a Quirktastic chat where it's like, all right, like, this person messed up. Like, you got to go. Like, oh, you're not for LGBT. You got to go. Oh, you think this is okay? You got to go. So that's definitely like the origin kind, as well as like kind of what it's transitioned to.
That's perfect. Thank you for sharing that. So we've definitely covered a little bit about the app, but stepping backwards a bit, one of the first things we did as a company as far as offering something tangible to our community was the Quirk Shop. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my idea with the Quirk Shop, there were two things. One is at the beginning, and I know, I think by this point, Lauren, we were probably working together. Yeah, we were definitely working together. There were just so many people that wanted to be a part of what we were building. And they're like, I just want to rep what y'all have. Like, can I do this? I'll volunteer my time. Can I work on this, and that? And like, of course, a few people we brought on because it's like, thank you. Like, we need this community. But then there were other people like, I just want to rep the brand or rep you all, support you somehow. And I wasn't comfortable with the idea of like people just donating money to us. So I was like, well, I mean, let's tat for tat, like, let's just make shirts. So I've made like a few of the shirts from the Quirk Shop. Now at this point, I pretty much made all of the shirts. And I think our most popular ones are anime and trap music. And then we have a new one, Sailor Scouts and Twist Outs. And I think those two have become popular because one thing that I noticed from our community is that even though most of the people at the time were Black or Latinx and liked anime, like, we weren't just one-dimensional. Like, we weren't just like super geeky and only like live, breathe, and ate gaming or anime. It was like we were we liked everything. We're multi-dimensional. So I kind of made it as a way of just like to show on your shirt of like, you can like both anime and trap music. Like, that's fine. And it's normal. And it happens because we are not a monolith. And then, yeah, I think that was like the main thing. But then also I thought t-shirts were a good idea because think of just the way that we make friends as nerds, especially introverts. It's like you see somebody, like, you're just out anywhere and you see somebody with a My Hero Academia shirt on and you're just like, oh my God, I like your shirt. Yeah, it's just like, I like your shirt. Like, are we going to become friends? Like, what's going on? So I wanted to create I wanted to be a part of that.
Lauren, you wanted to say something, or I'm still on the feels part of that.
It was just so like everything you said, but was spot on because that is how like we make friends. I know instantly as soon as I see someone with a shirt on that has something I like, I'm just like, oh, someone like me. So the Quirk Shop, I really love. Like, I need to get more from there because I could rip that all freaking day. But yeah, that's all. I was just agreeing.
Okay, cool. So I want to talk about the Daily Quirk because I'm realizing, of course, that all three of us at some point have written something for how we originally came to be for our audience was through media, and writing heavily was our thing. So where was the Daily Quirk in your mind as things evolved into us becoming Quirk Chat?
This is a question for me.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes, it is.
No. It's like, Lauren, you want to know? Yeah. So, and I guess Lauren will definitely add something to this, but let's see. The reason that I decided to start with a blog, which turned into a media company, was the easiest way to get our audience, to be honest. And it was easy in the sense of like, I didn't have to figure out how to code at that point, other than some basic Java, CSS, HTML stuff. And it was a way to like reach a large audience at a time. But then also we felt like a voice was missing at that time. So I think one of the very first most popular posts that we did was like, it was a large number. I can't remember. It was like 100 or 200 cosplayers of color or Black cosplayers for you to know. And the reason that I wanted to do that post was kind of like a slap in the face for all of just all of the other publications out there that would show all of these lists of cosplayers, whether it was on like an actual list or on their social media, and there'd be no Black or Latinx and barely even any Asian cosplayers on there. And I'm just like, what? So this was kind of like okay, you say like, you're gonna say like, oh, we can't find any, so we're gonna make this big slap of like, here we are. So that was the first thought. But then I guess like moving into the app, actually before we move on to that, I want to know, I guess, kind of your experience, Lauren, like when you approached writing the for the Quirk Shop or for the Daily Quirk, as well as even the stint that we had with the podcast network, like what were your thoughts of like where we fit in the ecosystem?
We're definitely niche. And I don't know what you were saying brought me back to when I first started writing for Quirk, and how we had, because I was the head of the geek department, but we had a geek, nerd, alternative, and free spirited. And that kind of like encompassed who our community was and how we were cultivating them at that time. Mm-hmm. So in reference to your question, which was, sorry, I totally just out of my head. Rephrase your question real quick?
Yeah, no, I just want to know kind of like, how did you approach creating and curating content, whether it was on the Daily Quirk for written articles or on the podcast? Like, where did you see us in that ecosystem?
So I very much took from my own experiences, as well as everyone that we were connected with at that time. I would actually get onto Facebook and pitch something, not to friends and family, but not to family, but like to friends and people who I met through the con scene. So it was very much taken from a personal space, and I think that's one reason why people love Quirktastic so much, is because there's a space for everyone in there, and we're still evolving, sure, but I think there's always going to be some type of evolution there, because we accept everyone. And so when I approached making content, it was from not only my own perspective of like, I knew if I related to this, there were other people that related to it. So I just took the ultimate personal approach as far as whether reaching out to other people or taking something that was dear to me. Like, I had written that article, how to leave your 9-to-5 for the freelance life, and had 3 people email me saying they quit their jobs. And
wow.
God, all right, I don't know, but but that was from a personal experience, because that's what happened to me, and how I got started with Quirktastic was as a freelancer. So writing real things that other people can relate to, like that's really the content approach that we always take.
Yeah, I would say just, I guess, doubling down on this, and then we can move on. One thing when I first started was just really trying to think of like one person. Like, and I think that's like the best content, is like, I don't care about anyone else. Like, as long as this one person finds joy in it, and I'm writing it specifically for them. And of course it reaches more people, but I noticed that it was like, instead of me, when I used to writing something that was very like generic of like this or that, it was more of like, all right, like this is for one person, and that's the one that would actually go viral.
I love that, but that's really how it is, though, when you like kind of take out the ego of reaching thousands of people and only hone in on like making sure you touch at least one person's life. I think that's when we get our best content, and that's when it really flourishes. Kind of like how, our campaign, This Is What a Geek Looks Like.
Yeah, and yeah, so with the This Is What a Geek Looks Like, as well as just other things, like I know we had the podcast network for a short bit. I feel like the Daily Quirk was our place of being able to just do other projects. Like, we were able to do that video series with King Vader, that also not only was for King Vader's, like to spotlight him, but also supported a local place in DC. So there were like a few, I feel like there were several ways that we were able to involve community, because our whole motto, like there were other people similar in our space, but I think our whole thing was like instead of seeing that as competition, it was all about collaboration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hello there.
Well, that's perfect. I was in the secret chat like, this is next. But we can roll into listening to you guys talk about, you know, how we connected with the community, what kind of things we decided to write about, and how we wanted to make and tell impactful stories, how that became wanting to do more in person. So how did that become Connie, which has since been rolled over into the app, and QuirkChat? How did those things make those arms of us appear and grow?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, okay. So I guess we could talk about Connie, who RIP, she died with coronavirus, man. It was she died real quick. But as Chelsea mentioned, I mean, we had our own con. We had QuirkCon in 2019. That was a smaller con in North Carolina. But the original thought for the app in general actually was we kind of did customer discovery on the audience that we built, because we had built out a pretty large audience from the Daily Quirk, which was just like Quirktastic at the time. So we built, I think at like our largest month, we were at over 500,000 monthly active users just from our articles. So from that, I was able to like build out a newsletter list, and I spent a lot of time just really talking to our community of like, all right, because we weren't making much money of it. Like we didn't like, it was like that wasn't the purpose at first, but of course you got to make money, guys. Anybody building community, you got to make money. But but one thing that I did was just talk to people, and I asked them if I could interview them. And most people were like, I just wanted to meet my people at cons. Like they can go, of course, to like an AfroComicCon and meet their people if they're like Black or women or whatever. However, there are thousands of cons that happen. And if you don't already have an established friend group, it can feel pretty lonely, and it can feel very cliquey if you're not a part of that. So the original thought of the app in general was like, let's just make a way for people to make friends online, and then those friends can roll over to friends they can meet up with at cons. That was all we wanted at first. And then, of course, the app has grown into even more now that we've just continued to listen to what people are saying. And we work with a lot of content creators who want more tools. So then to Connie, our thought with Connie was to allow you to buy tickets through the app and also kind of act as like a con discovery. Because as I mentioned, thousands of cons happen each year. But if you don't know about them, you don't know about them. So it was a way to where you can invite your friends that you've met through the app to go to different cons with you. We were going to figure out ways that we could do deals and specials and stuff at the different cons. And we got it up at the beginning of this year. It looked okay. It looked well enough to work. It functioned. And then it all got shut down. But I am actually very happy that it did, just because it's not the business that I wanted to run out. Like we didn't want to just be like a geeky Eventbrite, you know. Like I feel like even when cons come back, we'll have a better and more unique way to just help people build community and build friendships. That's honestly the main goal.
So for Lauren, to the same effect, sort of with QuirkChat and with us doing more for the app, I know as a whole team, we've been pouring into it and pouring ideas into it. I'm really interested to hear from you as our Chief Content Officer, what kind of things you really want to see from the app, from us. Like what kind of media and content, what kind of things you want to see the app do as far as our content.
So before you do that, can I like, I want to help in like telling you what the app is becoming, and then I also want to know your ideas. This will be helpful for any content creators out there, what we're building. So we're basically building a social video collaboration platform. So say that it's a quick way for you to leave remarks or like video responses. So for example, if Chelsea wanted to just say her point that she thinks that shoujo anime is better than shonen anime, she could go on there and record for 15 seconds, like, listen, Fruits Baskets is it. That's all you need, point blank, period. It's so much better than the X, Y, and Z.
It's true.
And then so she posts hers, and then I could go back, or any viewer could go back and basically add on to her point in 15 seconds. So they could either say, yes, you know what, that's right, a fruit basket is my thing, or it'd be like, actually, no, Demon Slayer is where it's at, and like all the things will be better. I like both. I like both genres. Or you could say you like both. And then like it kind of just keeps proliferating the conversation. Because the reason that we thought to do this was actually you all, our audience. It was like, what do we want to do? We just want to talk geek with people. That's literally it. Like, we want to tell you why this idea is the best idea, or we want to talk to you about what happened at the season finale of this and that. So yes. So with that being said, Lauren, I'd like to know.
Share with us.
Like, well, so luckily, one thing that coronavirus has done is it's definitely shifted our perspective as to what kind of content we can have in a snap. Before the pandemic, I know I placed a lot of emphasis on things having to be done inside of a studio. And we had even gone to a summit when we were Summit 21, I believe, Bree, when we were in LA, and had said, like, a content creator there said, you know, why is it that when I pour all this money into a video, that's the one that barely gets views, whereas the very rinky-dink ones that are just kind of like fly by the moment, those get all the views. So coronavirus has taught not just us, but every content creator now is going completely live streaming online and stuff like that. And they're doing things from the comfort of their home, because I mean, what else do you have? And
which is crazy for perfectionist Lauren to say. I don't think you all realize how much of a perfectionist Lauren, her Virgo self, cannot help it. She is a perfectionist.
It hurts sometimes because I'm just like this. So, oh God. So this has like really taught me to, like, even our very first live streams, like we had more than other people did. Like we had, like, things were set up and it had our colors and people's Instagrams. Like, even for a live stream, we made sure that we had a very signature Quirktastic look, because that's just how I am and how we are. But one of my ideas that I had this epiphany, maybe like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or something. And I was like, why haven't we been doing one of our series? It's called Animation High. And I was like, why haven't we been doing that on live stream? Because that would be so easy to get someone together and you watch the same anime, not on the screen together, but like you get together and watch the latest episode of something you get on live stream and you're talking about it. And it's kind of comedic because you're going back and forth. Well, you know, under the influence and something like that, because that would be more engaging. And I feel like more people would have fun. A lot of people would relate to it. And that was one thing that went through my head. And then we did keep one of our series alive during Corona, and that was the Nerdy Lunch Table. And the Nerdy Lunch Table is when we gather real geeks to talk about real life issues. So we had a couple live streams between Blacks and Asians when Corona first started happening and people were being racist shitheads, which they still are. A great way to come back, Chels.
I know, right? It's like
and they're being shitheads. Anyway.
I mean, but it does help me. I did miss some of the last things you were talking about, Lauren, unfortunately, because my internet dropped out again.
How Corona has kept some of our series alive, like the Nerdy Lunch Table, and having live chats around the real things that have been going on between Blacks and Asians, talking about their disparities at the beginning of the pandemic. And then we had some LGBTQ streams that we did. Everyone was so stressed out. We even did a yoga stream. Like that. But the way I want to see all of that come into our app is we did have a feature, which I know things are switching up, where it showed all of our content as soon as you opened the app. And I really like that, because those are good talking points, because a lot of people in our community are introverts, not me, but a lot of people like, that was super helpful. And just because, like, you just have to give conversation starters to our community. Like we had we had a pop-up event in LA, and we gave everyone name tags, but instead of giving them like their name on the name tag, we asked them nerdy questions like, is Goku really a good father or something? He's not. But,
It's the worst.
like you get like, so I'm looking forward to seeing our video content being into the app so that people have weekly things to look at and start a conversation about, because one of the most heartwarming things for me was when I saw a comment on an episode of Animation High saying, I look forward to this every Saturday. And I was like, what?
Wow.
Cool. So
yeah, as you can tell, we definitely take our community very seriously, very, very seriously. We want nothing more than connect with everybody. And even during COVID, we're like, anything we can hop on, anywhere we can speak, any other cons or anything we can partner up with to get the message out, we are about it. And then, of course, like I feel like connected with that is how good we are with our community, is because we're so good with each other behind the scenes. So I want to hear about our Quirk fam, our team, our peoples that are bringing all this content up. I mean, share with everybody anything, your favorite thing that we've done as a team, our triumphs, even a few of our failures that we've come up and picked up on. I want to hear about that stuff.
Let's talk about it. There also, apparently we can see comments. So if you all have, there's like another section. If you all who are watching have questions, we can't respond, but we can.
Well, typing anyway.
There's someone else that's responding on our behalf, but we can respond here. But yeah, anyways, go ahead, Lauren. I want to know your thoughts.
So Bree's going to be mortified in the most hilarious way. But one of my favorite memories is we were out in LA and we were working the first, like we worked our butts off all 4 months that we were there. But the first month especially was just like the grind. And we were like,
wait, why were we in LA, Lauren?
Oh, we were in LA for the Snapchat Accelerator program called Yellow. And we were there for 3 months, and Snapchat like helped us out and really like hone in on Quirktastic and build our community even stronger. And so we were working our butts off. I'm talking like waking up, I guess we woke up between like 7 and 8 every morning, got to the office, wouldn't get home till like 10 o'clock at night, sometimes for at least the first 5 weeks. And there was this one Friday where we were, this was like later into the summer, but like we were like, me and Bree like simultaneously shut our laptops after getting done. And we were so excited to be like, we're gonna stay on the couch the whole weekend. Our editor-in-chief was going out. So me and Bree were gonna just wear our onesies and just chill. And as soon as we shut our laptops, like we both were like, and the next morning we were so sick.
Oh my God, I remember this.
Oh wait, actually, was this just before I visited that you guys were overcoming that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was dying.
Waddled to my room the next morning, and she's like, Lauren, can you feel your body? I was just like, no, and our throats were horrible. But for some reason, that was like that experience of like working so hard together and then being so excited to hang out, but then we both were just on our asses the whole weekend. Like we on Tuesday, we got takeout. Like it was like, even though we could barely breathe, it was one of the most memorable and best weekends. And that like also all of us living together really cemented us being like sisters. And like it's like deeper than just us working together. Like we all look out for one another, and that's what I love the most about like working with Quirktastic and being a part of this community.
Yeah, I would say and someone said that they couldn't find the Nerdy Lunch Table. It's on our YouTube. If you don't see it on the old link, it's because we're rebranding to a whole new URL. So sorry about that. You've caught us behind the scenes rebranding.
We're literally like running around with jackhammers, like you tear this down and put this up, like
literally, it's just like Quirktastic, Quirkchat. What do we call each other? But anyways, so I think one thing that's interesting about our community specifically, like our team, the Quirk fam, is the fact that for the most part, most people have other things going on. Like they were already working in this space or adjacent spaces, and we've kind of all come together for one cause. Like, we have Greg, who a lot of people know as Player One from Land Party, and like he helped out with like the first design versions of the app, as well as a lot of our just productions with the live streams. We have Chelsea, who has her own amazing thrift shop and is also an amazing designer who lit her skills here. And we worked with even Destiny of Getting Animated, a very popular podcast. She did our social media up until recently. Now she's at Crunchyroll. Whoop, 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 whoop. But yeah, like, I don't know. I say that to say, I don't know. It was really cool to me to see that since all of y'all already had your own really cool things going on, you still lent your powers, your superpowers together to like work on this cool cause. And I think that because we've kind of all come into it with no ego, like we're not trying to be the best for the sake of being the best. Like we want to be the best for our community, and whatever that entails. Like we're not like, oh, like, and we've had several talks about it because of course, like we're not the only people in this space. And it's like, we talk all the time of just like, you know what, like we can all thrive in this space. We all have our unique angles, and we just need to hone in on what makes our community happy. So I think now that we've all got that together, like it just makes our team, like it just makes it so much easier, you know, like if you can work in a group of people to where we're all just going like hard for the one cause, like I mean, we should have our own anime.
Somebody draw us, please.
Yes.
Please.
Shout out to Bree, because that's one thing that Bree's been this way. Like, you have always encouraged us to do our own thing from the get-go. Like you've even said, like, why don't you make your own film, like short film studio, and just run that through Quirktastic? Because you're all about everyone winning, and that's the essence of Quirktastic. We want everyone to win, and that's like really meaningful on so many levels. So thank you.
Yes, I agree 100%. Like, I feel like you've always had this also like this really amazing sixth sense when it comes to who you want to put on the team. Because I know, like, coming into Quirktastic, I was just like, I just want to write for y'all. Like, I will do listicles for the rest of my life if that's what you want. And it was right around the time I actually just had stepped down from working with BlurCon. I worked with them from, I think I volunteered the very first BlurCon, and then I joined staff, but I moved cross country, which made things a little harder to work with them, and had to step down. And, you know, I'm sad, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just, you know, write my articles for Quirk. And then Bryanda's like, hey, do you want to be our event director? And I'm like, yeah. And I take my job very seriously. And I think we all take it very seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. And I think that's where the difference comes in. We do our jobs and we do them right, and we put our heads in it, but, you know, we're not like, oh, I'm this, I work for Quirktastic, I'm a blah, 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 blah. Like, no, it's like I build community, and it makes me feel great. And that's
exactly. Exactly. I love that.
Aww. I miss you guys.
Yes,
all right. We have actually covered everything that we like needed to cover. So is there anything you guys wanted to say or ask either me or
oh no,
she's freezing up a little bit, but it's okay.
I was just gonna, you know, I can go ahead and add in there.
Yeah, we've got like what, 15 more minutes.
When it comes to, if anyone out there is like curious about making content, my biggest piece of advice would be, make sure you're being authentic to yourself, because you're going to attract the right people when you're authentic to who you are and to what you want to put out into the world. Don't follow the trend. Don't follow nothing else. Just do what, like, of course there are like algorithm rules that you need to like follow or whatever, but do whatever in order to get seen, but do whatever fits your brand. And then the right people will come, because when you do build a community, you don't want to build, like, you don't want quantity, you want quality. Like, that's one thing that I've always loved about our community, and also why I like cons like AfroComicCon and BlurCon and stuff like that, because they're smaller. They're smaller now, but they're getting bigger because people are being authentic to who they are, and that's attracting the authenticity. So just remember that whenever you're making content, like, Is this something, like every single thing that I have written or produced, I would watch it as a consumer if I had nothing to do with it. If you would not watch the stuff that you're putting out, you're putting out.
Exactly. Also, someone asked if there's a Q&A. Oh, hi, Kicks Out Wellness. Hello. And also everyone who said hi. Hey, we can see your comments. We just can't respond in the comment section, but you can ask there and we can answer live. So
yep,
I will be so. Thanks for coming.
Yes, I will be keeping an eye on the comments. I did see that question also. And we are going into Q&A next. We just wanted to make sure we wrapped up and got everything out that we wanted to get out. Bryanda, did you have anything to add before we start taking questions?
Yeah, and I'll leave people as much time as they want to leave questions. I actually had more of a question for you and Lauren, just about team. I feel like a lot of people out that may be listening, I'm seeing like some of the names pop up, and I'm like, okay, they have brands already. I'm thinking like, why are you at this panel when you could be listening to Sinbad? Apparently Sinbad's going on at the same time, and I hope we didn't just lose people from that. But anyways, it's like team. When thinking of like people that you want on your team, I know I'm the one who kind of, I guess, built up the team, but now that we're here and we're also thinking about just making changes to the team, what do you think are some important things for people who are putting on their first team members to look out for, or to structure, or like any thoughts when you hear the word team and like startup team?
Be honest with, if you're the one building the team, be honest with who you are as a person. Bree is very honest with herself. And so she wants that feedback from her team. She doesn't want a team of people who are going to agree and not challenge her. Like, she wants a team of people who are going to give her the hard facts, and also to know how to do their jobs that she's hiring them to do. But one thing that also was very heartwarming and attractive as a leader is that you also took the time to learn everyone's position and to know what we were putting in, like what kind of work it took to do this. So I would just say, get people who are willing, but also ones that challenge you. But like challenge you in a good way, like not in like people who you vibe with. Get complimentary people. That's one thing about our whole team at Quirktastic. We all complement each other very well. There's always someone, like if one of us doesn't want to do something alone or whatever, there's always someone who perfectly complements that particular panel or that project or something. You need to get people who, and we're all very mutable in that there's nothing we won't try to do together. So, and that's another key thing with having a startup. You are not going to have just one position in a startup. One position, but there's a whole bunch of other things that we all do. So you need to get people who are who can mutually work together and who have a good attitude, who challenge you, but in a good way. That's what I would say really makes us dynamic and makes it so easy to work together. Because like, we've all been working remote for 3 years.
Yeah.
But when we all get together, it is like the best day in the office. We get so much work done. So yeah, it's really cool.
No, that's so awesome that you say that. And I think for anyone out there who is a leader, oh, hi, Terrell from blurred.com. I see you out here, who is also a really great leader. I think something that's important, what you mentioned, is just kind of knowing or having realistic expectations for your team. And that's really my thought process of trying to get to know what you do. So like I asked you, I was like, what does this look like? I wanted to know the cost and all this stuff, because it's like, if I'm having unrealistic expectations of when something should be due, I'm going to have some thoughts about you that aren't justified, and then that causes just angst against the team. So I didn't want that. And I also wanted everyone else to know. So we use if anyone's looking for tools, you can use something like Asana. I think we started off at Asana way back when, and I still recommend it because it's, I think there's like a free version or it's cheap. Once we got a bit more developed, we started using Basecamp, which was helpful just because I like the way it was organized. That's really it. I like the way it was organized. We had a calendar and like you could break off in little projects, but then it was also transparent to where everyone on the team could see what everyone was working on. So, which is important if you have a team at the startup where everybody, even despite of your job position, is basically doing all the things. So yeah, that's super important. So I know we've lost Chelsea for the time being. So I'm, asana, like the yoga move, S-A, take out the U, and then that's it. Yes. So try that out. Yeah. Anything else that you think is important for when people are thinking about building community? Because we have a lot of people out here who I'm sure are wondering, like, all right, like we're at the beginning phases. We have X amount of people on Instagram. Like how do we grow from there?
Damn. So you need to, I like to have a plan, as you already know. Like I like to do things in phases. So one thing that I recommended, I think I have it right here.
The organized Virgo. Of course, you got your planner. I got mine.
Yes. So see,
I have several.
It's a Virgo moon. But this is called a Hatch notebook, and you can get it off at Amazon for, it's between like $20 and $25. And it basically just has, here's a blank one. It's basically just a huge layout of your project. And I like it because it helps. It not only helps you develop what it is now, but it helps you think of a concept for that can be like spin-offs out of it. So it's just like you need to like have very small, like have little goals in between your big ones, because then you're going to be focused so much on the big goal that you're going to be missing your small wins, or you're not going to be focused in the right spaces, especially with niche communities. Like even this right here, there were people in the comment section asking for our handles. This is like the first AfroComicCon, and this is I have no idea how many people are actually on this chat right now watching, but either way, it's the small, like you hit a small community here, and then more people come, and then so don't be afraid to also collaborate with other people. Like that's our big thing. We love collaborating because we're all about helping everyone out. But definitely be organized, have smaller goals in between your bigger ones, and don't focus so hard on a number. That's a big one. If you just be consistent and have small goals, and you'll get to where you want to be before you know it. And I feel like that sounds cliche as hell, but as we've actually done that, like it works. So
can I give a few tangibles? Because I know, well, apparently we have more time if we wanted, but I think we were going to stop at the hour. But so like there were a few tangible things that I feel like people that are listening can do. Because I recently did this with a few friends of mine who are in the space. I do sometimes take out times to do calls, though I've been super busy now, so I can't. But one thing is do an audit of your whole online life, because we have to do that several times for Quirktastic. And this is why we took down our social media, to be honest. Like you'll notice like, oh, like there's no Quirktastic at Quirktastic anything. We did change the handle because we are rebranding, but even on that, I deleted all like thousands of posts. It took me forever, but I was like, it's necessary because we weren't focused. And like I feel like we weren't really how do I say it? We weren't really getting to like the end result. What we want people to do is go to our app, but what we were doing was kind of becoming like a meme page and growing out a page on Instagram, which is like, that's great for Instagram, but like we're not getting much from that. We can't really, I mean, other than maybe like some sponsored posts every now and again on Instagram, but like it wasn't meeting our goals. So I think even as community, you need to see like, what is my product? Start there. So I know I did this with some friends, and I was like, all right, what's your product? Is it you want people to go to your podcast? Do you have an email newsletter that's going to convert people to something like a class that you're teaching? Do you have t-shirts that you're trying to get people to? Like, what's the product? And then even if your product is community, like if you have them housed somewhere, like you want a call to action for people. So make sure that you're creating content, even on Instagram, for these call to actions. Just making sure that everything is very structured, because I think the worst thing that happens, especially to us in this space, like we've been victim to it as well, is like we'll grow out these big communities hoping that another brand will like see us and Senpai will notice us, and like they will be the ones who like give us this money because we're building this audience. But like at the end of the day, like the worst thing is when you build up this big audience and you have $0 to show for it. You know, like the community is great, but like you're gonna burn yourself out if you don't have like a call to action for your people, and your people want to support you. So like whether it's you holding events, whether it's you selling merchandise, what it is, like people just need to know that these are the options that you do. So like homework number 1, make sure that the link in your bio is pointing people to where you want them to go. It could be one of those tiered Linktree links or just like one thing. And then also look at like your columns of photos that you're doing. If it's all just random, then you need to really think of like some series you can do to get people to want to go off of Instagram to where you're wanting them to go. So those have been the biggest things. So yes,
for sure.
Huh.
Well, I'm trying to think.
We lost Chelsea, but she is in the comments, so she is watching. And also, if there are any more questions, she is looking at them. But I think this would also be a good time, since we are in the wrapping up, to kind of tell you all. Oh yes, I hope that y'all are reading the comments, because people are saying really great things in there. We can't respond, but yes, it's great. One thing that I did want to also say, speaking on the terms of building community and money, is we are actually raising on a platform called WeFunder. If you go to wefunder.com/Quirktastic, Chelsea, I know that you're in the comments, at least on YouTube. If you could drop the link to our WeFunder, that would be great. But one thing that was really important for me when building Quirktastic, which is now changing to QuirkChat, was just to figure out a way for our community to actually be a part of our mission, and to make sure that like everything that we did was like geared towards community. So with that, we decided to do a crowdfunding investment platform called WeFunder, which allows you to invest in our company for as little as $100. So it is not a Kickstarter. It is not a donation. It is private equity, like ownership into our company. So hopefully some people are familiar with that. I don't know if you think, Lauren, I should expand more on that, or what are your thoughts?
No, I think you just about covered it. Sorry, I'm looking at another question here. But no, I think you covered that nicely. Geek Out Wellness would like to know, QuirkCon will be coming in 2021.
Oh, let's see. Let's see if the world opens up. So this would have been like actually around summer would have been around the time that we would have to like start the planning for 2021. And with the summer kind of being crazy, like we're not going to do an in-person anything. I just don't want to risk it that soon. However, I have been working with my friend Farah, who runs the company called The Labs. She's done a lot of the event production platforms for a lot of the events taking place during the COVID era. And we've just played around with the idea of doing a virtual con. So, I mean, and then we'll probably ask our friends at AfroComicCon their experience with this to see. So we haven't made any clear-cut decisions, but Chelsea, who was in here earlier, is our event director. So we'll see. We'll take her advice to see if she thinks that we should.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully Chelsea can put in the links. If not, we will go after this and put the links in. Yeah. Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
No, thank you guys so much for having us and listening to us. And we really hope that we helped you guys out in some capacity, and be sure to look out for us when we remerge from our cocoon. We're going to come out like a butterfly. It's going to be awesome. So look out. And
Yeah.
looking forward to bringing you guys content and hopefully seeing you guys in person, maybe by midway next year or something
We'll
like that.
see. We shall see. And just for last things, if you want to find out more about our app, it's currently called Quirktastic in the app stores. So you can go to quirktastic.com or quirktastic.co, C-O, and then it'll redirect you to either the Apple Store or the Google Play. If you want to follow us on social media, there's not much there right now because we are rebranding, but the handles are Quirk Chat because that's what we're rebranding to. And then if you would like to support and become an investor, you can invest as little as $100 on wefunder.com/Quirktastic. So, yeah, thank you all so much. And yeah, bye.
Bye.